we've already visited a site where we talked about Hemlock Dwarf Mistletoe quite a bit because the management in that area was based on it. But we couldn't actually show you any at that point because the management was successful in removing it from that site. But we're on a different site now where we have a fair number of the mistletoes around. If you hear some background noise, the river is right behind us. So we've noticed a couple of strange growths in this tree related to the mistletoe. Can you describe what those are and kind of how they fit in with the life cycle of the mistletoe?
Yeah, lots of them actually in this example here. So this is a really big hemlock. It's got a nice open growing spot. It's got a really big full crown. And this crown just looks infested to me all throughout at least the lower part of the crown with many infections of mistletoe. So first about mistletoe is it's actually a plant. It's a flowering plant, so that means it's an angiosperm, and it's fully parasitic. So it's like an obligate parasite. It cannot exist without its host. And this one is a hemlock dwarf mistletoe. So they're fairly common on a variety of conifers all over the world. And this is one species of mistletoe that only exists on western hemlock. And so what happens is the seed has to land on live branches. And then once they get rooted and they're growing into the branch, they can even grow right through to the stem of the tree. They're not going to kill the tree in any hurry. They're a parasite. They don't want to kill their host. They just want to feed off of their host. So again, they're getting all of their nutrients, all their sugars and carbohydrates for their growth from the hemlock. They don't photosynthesize at all. But what they do is they send up little flowering shoots every now and then. They produce seed, and they send out that seed to reinfect other parts of the crown and any other adjacent trees. And they can shoot their seeds quite a long way. It's really an interesting ecology. You should try reading up on it because they're very fascinating how their seeds spread.
So can you describe a little bit these? So we were seeing kind of strange structures in the tree. Can you describe those?
Oh yeah, right. So every place where the mistletoe germinates, it's actually altering the hormones and the growth of the tree branch. And that's to direct the plant to send a lot of resources in that direction. But what it does is it forms something that we call a witch's broom. And if you look at them, what happens is the branch starts to send out shoots in all directions. And so that's where the word witch's broom comes from, because it looks like the broom that in old legends and stories witches would ride around on brooms. You know, the sort of broom that you sweep your floor with. And they look like a broom. And so that's what it starts to look like up top, and it's like a characteristic symptom of this disease. You see the witch's brooms, and you think that's got to be the hemlock dwarf mistletoe.
So if we're standing on the ground looking up and we see that growth, we might be able to get a glimpse of the actual plant itself, but mostly what we're seeing is the change in the tree's growth pattern that's induced by the mistletoe.
Yeah, right, that's right. You know, it's really actually hard to see the mistletoe plant. Not only are they usually, way up over your head in the live crown, but they actually don't send up many shoots. They really only need to do that for flowering. I mean, they don't photosynthesize, so they really only have very tiny vestigial leaves, and they don't really have any need to grow a lot of branches, so it's just hard to see them. They only send little shoots up to flower every now and then, and most of the time the rest of the growth of that plant is actually inside the tree.